Yo, what's up YouTube? It's Ninja Turtle here, and finally got our first custom video, brand new custom for 2021. Finally, Happy New Year to everyone, by the way. I spent a quiet New Year driving around Chicagoland area, getting everyone home safely until about 3 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, ended up finishing this Savage Land Rogue not too long ago, and I want to make this video just to show you, just in case you are a customizer and you want to know how to make this, or at least know where the parts came from, because there's parts from all over the place. It's not just one figure, it's multiple figures. I won't show you directly what I did, but of course, if you are interested in seeing me work on customs, you can go to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ninja_turtle, where I sculpt and paint on the live stream, so that way you can see me work on whatever I'm working on right now. And of course, I post pictures on social media. But here is just a video. Stay tuned, and you will see everything that goes into making this here rogue. So let's go ahead and get started from the bottom, as we always do, and work our way to the top. Alright, we have Blink here right next to our rogue, and in general, I use this Blink for a whole lot, but it really wasn't so much about using her legs. I hope you notice that her legs are actually skinnier, Rogue's legs, than Blink. Her Blink's legs are much bigger, so I'm not using Blink's legs here, but we do have Blink here for several reasons, so we're just going to go ahead and knock out everything that I took from this Blink figure. Starting with the actual feet are the same feet from this Blink. They're just flats, regular flats. This green color is a great green color, and I would have loved to have had this green color on my rogue, to be honest with you. And yeah, you can see other things that I took as well. These little sock boot things, those also come from this rogue, or from this Blink onto this rogue, the exact same green color. And then the little sash, whatever, the cloth, loin cloth, that's on rogue is this same cloth that's on Blink, and I cut the belt, and it's the same belt as well. So this little piece right here that sticks up, that's cut off, and then all of these little beads on the belt were paint removed and then sanded down to try to be as smooth as possible, and then cut the cloth so it's nice and short, and to this styling. But that's all of that. And also the choker on Blink as well, same deal. I tried to sand off all of the beads there so it could be as smooth as possible, and painted that green on Rogue. So she has the choker, the cloth belt slash belt thing, these little socks, and the shoes all come from this Blink figure. Probable that these hands also come from Blink. I'm not 100% sure, but these are weapon holding hands, and I gave Rogue weapon holding hands. So that's all of that. Oh, forgot, and one last thing, also her lower torso, the abs, all of that lower torso is also from this Blink figure. One special thing to note, though, that if you are aware of what Hasbro's been doing with their Marvel Legends, this Blink, this torso is different from a Kate Bishop torso, in that, for what it's worth, this butt is much smaller, much flatter. And that's actually good for me. I like having diversity, and I can go back and forth. But I wanted Rogue on this torso because if I put her on a Kate Bishop, it would have made her taller. So this is, the torso itself is the same length as a Kate Bishop torso, the lower torso is, but in general, just how it works when putting legs on, this torso will keep her shorter. They're about the same height, but if I put Kate Bishop on there, she would end up being taller. So I wanted to use this torso, but I didn't want to give her this small butt. So I actually did sculpt Rogue a butt there. She's got some epoxy sculpt on that thing back there. But yeah, it is significantly bigger. Now, I honestly didn't intend on Rogue's butt to be this big. I just wanted it to be a lot bigger and better than this. But that is truly, again, epoxy sculpt on Rogue's butt to make it a lot bigger than how it is default on Blink. But that is, again, I'm not mad at how it turned out. It's the first time I've ever done anything like that, and I have a lot to learn, but I think it turned out really well. And when I did it, it didn't seem as big because, when I'm sculpting it, it's gray epoxy sculpt. So I don't know how good it's going to look until after I finish priming and painting it. And when I realized, like, oh wow, this thing looks great, but it also is a little too big, just a little too big. If you really want the big butts, of course, you got Rogue in the Moonstone body mold, which I will get to soon. We will get to the comparisons shortly, but the Moonstone body mold will give you all of that, and I'm not using that body specifically, which I will get back to later, but I'm not using that body specifically for a reason. So that's it for Blink. Okay, back at it. We've got Retro Dazzler here for not much, but I do want to point out the legs again on Rogue. So the lower legs are just the Kate Bishop body mold legs, these thinner legs. These are the same ones on this Rogue. Oh, also, I forgot to mention these knees. So there's a complicated reason why. I guess I'll get to it, but these knees are from that Blink. So the Blink is gone now, but these are those knees. These are these legs. The legs don't particularly matter that much, and of course, what I didn't notice at the time and what I've learned lately is that Blink's lower legs are longer than these legs, these Kate Bishop. So it would actually have made her taller if I used Blink's legs, the lower legs specifically, compared to the Kate Bishop's lower legs. And other than that, the cuffs on these gloves are the same from Dazzler. They're just painted green. They went from blue to green, but that's it. Nothing else from Dazzler. Now, getting back to Rogue's legs, as I was saying before, this is to each his own, of course. One, I made her this skinny, and I'm using specifically legs that are and these are Electra Netflix legs. Okay, so these are actually for blue jeans or black jeans, whatever. But most importantly, that they are skinny, they are long, and they pop on and pop off, so I can easily remove these without any real effort. Okay, so it's not that's how I use my legs, how I use legs, what I use on my figures. And these are the only tall, skinny legs that I know of that do that. Most Kate Bishop legs are, they're the hard install legs that you'd have to end up cracking a torso. So I don't do that, and so that's one reason why she looks like this. But if you prefer her having bigger legs, and I understand why you do, that's totally fine. But again, I'll get back to why she's so skinny. But I'm using these legs, and I had to sand them down. So I had to sand down all of the cloth ripples and the blue jean pattern and so on, just to get these thighs to be smoother. And I didn't do it perfectly. There are still some ripples in there, some errors that I'm going to try to do better with next time. This is the first time I actually used these legs, and I'm glad they turned out pretty well. But when the issues came up is that, again, these knees are from Blink, the legs are from the Kate Bishop body mold, the Dazzler, and then the thighs and the hips are from this Electra. By default, they do not work. These particular Electra legs don't work very well with others. I couldn't use the knees from the Dazzler with this thigh. There's just some complications in there. Compatibility issues would be a good way to summarize it up. So I ended up having to use, again, these Blink knees with the Dazzler leg and the Electra thighs. All right, so moving on, going back to what's going on up top here. Her arms are just kind of generic Kate Bishop arms. I honestly don't remember what figure I got them from, but I'm pretty sure they were from a figure that had flesh tone arms and ended up just painting them so they match all of the rest of the figure. Her upper chest, her upper torso is a female beetle upper torso, and I use that for several reasons. But first, keep in mind that if you're going to use the same female beetle upper torso, you have to change this pin. The neck pin will not work with this head or pretty much any other head in existence. I don't know why, but this is a very unique pin. It doesn't work perfectly for any other head. But anyway, this upper torso, the chest, is this chest, sanding off the straps here and removing the wings for the back, removing those. So all of that is gone. Back there, so you can see, it's pretty decent and clean. The shirt is sculpted on, but the what is intended to be a corset and the corset top on here is kind of like a bra now. So you see that green is just the outline, is the sculpted part of this corset top on the female beetle. So that's what that green is, and then sculpting epoxy sculpt on top of that for the ripped yellow shirt and painted on the X symbol myself. Also, you may notice that there's some sculpt on her thigh and also on her right arm there. And then there's a little ribbon sash that goes back there. That came from, if we get to her head, the original head. This head is the Walgreens exclusive Mystique Rogue head. So if you remember, that Mystique came with a Lalandra head and the Rogue transforming from Mystique. So this is that Rogue Mystique head with all that paint removed and repainted and redone to be actually Rogue, and that had a ribbon coming out of the side of her head, which I removed and paint and glued it to her leg and made my own custom feathers on the side of her face. So that's what that is. So if you're wondering, which I forgot to mention earlier, this is Savage Land Rogue, but not based off of the cover image, and basically not based off of any fan art either. Literally, when you open up that comic, which I believe off the top of my head is Uncanny X-Men 274, I could be wrong, but it is like within the first page or two, there's like a full-on image of her from head to toe, and she looks more or less like this. She has feathers in her head. She has the cloth wrapped around her leg, and so on. She pretty much, like I said, looks exactly like this. The only difference is this weapon is different. So this one is a spear. She has like just a generic wooden staff, and that's pretty much the only difference. So this weapon, I grabbed this. This actually came from the Walmart exclusive Black Panther, which was a couple of years ago. I nabbed one on eBay, kind of on a fluke. I was looking for the Shuri Black Panther, which comes with the exact same weapon, because I was going to use that weapon for Rogue and use Shuri for another custom, but ended up finding the actual Black Panther one. It's the same thing, so why not? So I ended up just grabbing it, and I didn't have that Black Panther already, so and I'm super happy to have it. It looks awesome on my shelf. I love it. But yeah, so that's where this weapon came from. It is repainted and redone. I had to remove all of the paint. This was like silver, and these leaves are like black, and so on. So all of that's redone. But yeah, back to Rogue's head. This is that Walgreens Mystique. So all of the hair is repainted. It was red. Now we have the white and the brown. Her face was changing, and now she has eyebrows and eye color, and so on and so on. So yeah, that's pretty much Rogue. This is probably honestly one of the better. Excuse me, made that mistake. This is admittedly one of the better faces that I've painted. Even though it didn't come out like perfect the first time, it still turned out really good. Especially considering that I didn't know what this face was going to look like until after it was painted, and because no one's really used that Mystique Rogue head unless you put it on Mystique's body to make her pretend that she's Rogue. So yeah, I don't know. I've been kind of debating if I want to continue to use this face, this head, for future Rogues, or if I want to use the new all green suit Rogue with like the two different head sculpts and use that as my faces for Rogue going forward. But let's get those rogues together and see what they look like together, and then I can explain why she's so skinny. Okay, finally, the part you've probably been waiting for, the rogue comparison. We have the what is it, the Juggernaut Wave rogue all the way to the right here, and we have the new, well, I'd say like the probably the newest costume. Yeah, the newest costume rogue that Hasbro's made, although she doesn't, she actually wears this again in the comic books right now. But I will call this the all new, all different rogue, okay? The ponytail rogue. And then we have the re-release of classic Jim Lee rogue. This was the Target exclusive rogue. And then we have this custom Savage Land rogue using the Mystique head from the Walgreens exclusive Mystique. So, first off, she's skinnier than all of these because of one, how I choose to make my customs. So, it's not because I prefer skinny girls or anything like that, but it is because I try to scale to height and weight best I can, to official height and weight. So, looking up everything, and honestly, I will be 100% honest with you. When I've been researching customs for a long time, and when I researched Rogue and her official stats, I could have sworn to you that I saw that she had the same height and weight that Captain Marvel had, and the same height and weight of Wonder Woman. So I was like, okay, I'm going to build them all on the same body, because it makes sense. If they have the same height and weight, they should all look about the same. It shouldn't be that great of a difference. With the Wonder Woman, I haven't made any yet, but I am planning on using bigger arms for her. But I'm also going to make a couple other changes that I wasn't planning on, but that's because I'm developing in general. But that was months ago when I last checked Rogue's stats. I could have sworn that would have been 6 foot tall and 160 or so pounds, 165. That's Captain Marvel, that's Wonder Woman's height and weight, give or take a few. And I thought Rogue was on the same plane as them. I could have sworn that's what I saw. But then right before I started my custom, I checked again, and it says now that Rogue is 5'8" and 120 pounds. Where does it say that? It says this on Marvel.com on her character profile. So, in general, 5'8" is a very tall girl. So, and what's actually great is that they all scale pretty well next to each other, considering that I made this one and these are official releases, and this is like a kit bash / custom, and I ended up getting them to be about the same height. So I'm actually surprised by that they ended up being like that. But and then I do think this scale is about 5'8", so that works for me. But 120 pounds definitely ain't this and ain't this in my eyes. 120 pounds and 5'8" is more skinnier, slimmer. If she was like 100 and if honestly, if it said that she was 130 pounds, I would have given her bigger legs and would have had her still on a slimmer profile, slimmer waist, same chest, same arms and stuff, but just give her bigger thighs if it was like 130 pounds, but 120, I tend to make them slimmer. So unless they're really short, which even that's hard to make someone short and thick considering using Marvel Legends parts. Um, yeah, so I use skinnier legs because she's 120 pounds, and it doesn't make sense that this or this is 120 pounds. So these are the same legs, though, on this figure, all three of them. They're about the same size, I would say. Um, but a key difference is on this ponytail rogue is that this is not the Moonstone body mold. It is still quite curvy, but I think it is a Kate Bishop, or it might be something else. I'm not 100% sure because it is, using the pinless technology. It does have a Kate Bishop top, so her upper chest or upper torso, excuse me, is a Kate Bishop torso. You can tell from the peg hole in the back, and then just the chest size. Where these are the Moonstone, just because big boobs, right? All of the big boobs and the big butt that the Moonstone body mold has. But my Rogue, again, I wanted her to have a chest. I think that's, for me, that's canonical to Rogue, that she has a large chest. Not this large, though. For the most part, there aren't going to be that many comic book characters that I even want to have this body, to be honest with you. And it's not because I don't like the Moonstone body mold, because I absolutely do love it. It's beautiful. But for me, trying to scale height and weight is something that I do try to nail. And in my eyes, that doesn't land very well with this body on that many characters. If you look at official art, and I say official meaning how they're drawn in actual comic books as opposed to fan art or whatever video game is and so on, they tend to be on a slimmer build, even Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman. So that's how I want my figures to look. And then her being 120 pounds is just not thick to me. Now, unless she's like 5'4", then maybe she would be thick. But 5'8", a little bit slimmer in my eyes. It is a weird position to take. And I know, again, if you make your custom with the Moonstone body mold, if you use this body to make your Savage Land Rogue, I ain't gonna hate on it. In fact, I'd love to see it, to be honest with you. But for me, I want to get height and weight, and I really wanted to make her that slim figure, and I think it fits. I do think it fits her character to look like this, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm gonna miss using this body mold, and I did buy a couple of these rogues. I have this one, which I literally just took out of the package specifically for this video. I wasn't ready to take it out yet, but I was like, I kind of need it. But yeah, I do plan on remaking it, actually. So that will come relatively soon, not right away. But I do want to remake this Rogue to look more like this. So she'll end up being slimmer. And I know people probably won't like that because they like the booty and stuff. I'm still going to use this body pretty much exactly the same and give her a bigger butt like I did on this. And again, I could just use this one. Why don't you just use this one if you want to have a bigger butt? I get it, but I also like using these legs. So if I want to use these pop on, pop off legs without cracking any torsos, because I don't do that, if I wanted to use this body, I'd have to crack the torso to get these hips out and paint it, sand it, etc., etc. I don't want to do that. I don't need to do that on a female body. So I'd rather use these legs and have a more accessible body. I still will be using these body molds on customs very soon, but I just won't be using them on very many characters. In fact, these, I would almost consider these anime breasts, and because I have them already in mind for, two video game characters. Well, yeah, one video game character in particular, very particular, and then at least 2 to 3 anime characters. This is the largest chest that we have as Marvel Legends collectors for a female character. So you can consider these really big boobs. Where I do this is I use the female beetle body because I consider them bigger than this, the Kate Bishop chest. So, and then the smallest that I've seen is like Jessica Jones, Netflix. I think that's the smallest, either that or the new body molds for Gwen Stacy and Moira McTaggart, and the new what's the other one that has like the same kind of sweater? I think maybe the Jean Grey is also very small, but still, I like having that range and having options for various characters, so different chests and so on. Not everyone's gonna be on this body mold. I love it, but it just doesn't make sense to me. And also, I will do this in the future for when I make that video game character using this chest. How weird it looks mixing and matching this torso, upper torso, with other body parts from other characters. It looks really, really off. You kind of almost have to use this body mold anyway, as is. But we'll get to that in the future. I will do swaps with hair, probably using actually the relaxed face on this Rogue with this hair to make this remade 90s Jim Lee animated series version of Rogue. So I'm going to make it specifically animated series Rogue with the more dirty greenish brown jacket and belt, and she actually has short heels on the animated series, so she'll be slimmer, she'll have a dirtier green jacket, and she'll have heels, and she'll have this face with that hair, and her headband is black without the ribbon going off the side. That is the animated series Rogue. Make sure you go check out the animated series if you question what I just said, because I literally just finished binge watching it again for like the 4th time about a couple weeks ago. So I've studied how she looked in that show up and down, and for 4 seasons, she was kind of this body, but sometimes this body, but again, black headband with no ribbon off the side and dirty green jacket, and very inconsistent coloring, because that's how that show was. Not hating, but it's the truth. Anyway, thanks for joining me. This is about Savage Land Rogue, by the way. I ended up talking about Rogue a whole lot. I would love to, and I'm actually binge watching the X-Men Evolution, which is the first time I've ever watched X-Men Evolution, truth be told. And although I don't think the show is amazing, I absolutely love Rogue, and it's visually probably my favorite costume on Rogue. Just her casual look with the see-through shirt and skirts and her goth look. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I want to make one really bad, but I don't know a path to get there yet. But I'll be constantly thinking about how to get there, and she would end up being just like this. So if you're interested in more, make sure you stay tuned. Subscribing is the easiest way to do so, and you get the latest videos from me. I have more on the way, trust me. And hopefully soon I'll post another video if I can get someone's feet to work, because it would be really nice to post this video of that character. Alright, see you guys later.